While you're making your Oscar predictions, we're making our Kickstarter Pickstarter predictions for the week of February 18th, 2019.
Gamelyn Games is bringing us the latest entry in their Tiny Epic franchise, Tiny Epic Tactics. This one involves players taking on little characters who are wizards or mages, if you will, different classes, different little figures, and you are battling with other players on a board. What's special about this board is that it is actually three-dimensional. You use a special mat that goes underneath, as well as the box itself becomes part of your playing field, and then some smaller pieces that are these rectangular 3D pieces that you place in different areas, so that it actually matters what height you're at on the map in addition to what kind of space you're on. You're attacking each other and trying to gain control of different areas. It's essentially a territory control game, and every round you check to see who has the majority in that area until a certain player wins. Every character also has their own special stats and abilities that you can use and mix and match. This one also comes with a solo mode and a co-op mode where monsters are going to be coming out of different areas and attacking you. I thought this looked really cool. The Tiny Epic series is not one that I have any real familiarity with, but that 3D terrain aspect on a very small scale, I think really does something to make the game feel more alive, more real almost in a way. It reminded me more of video game digital tactics games like an XCOM or something like that, or for the more cartoony look of this Mario Rabbids game, where you can actually push people off of ledges, you know, and maybe you have a card that will give you more points if you do that, or push them into something. Of course, there's different terrain types. This just seemed like a very neat, fun game, and in a small package, you know?
No, anything, the Tiny Epic, you know, it's a big, very popular series, and obviously they're going to try to push the envelope of what they can bring and keep it in that small package.
Yeah, which is nice. It only is $20, but there are some extra things you can go for, like a deluxe edition, or they actually have a couple of optional expansions which add even more maps, so there's more variety, more things that you can fight on and play with. Seems really cool, like I said, for 2 to 4 players if you like those kinds of tactics games. Take a look at it. It's tiny, and it's epic.
This is Board Game Design Advice, 2nd edition, authored by Gabe Barrett. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. This book is all about how to design games and advice from board game designers. He goes and interviews a lot of designers. You can check out the list of names he has on the Kickstarter. And this is one of those things I think it's always nice to know not only how to play a game, but maybe sort of the behind the scenes, because that can help you learn to make your own game, which with Kickstarter now is very easy. But you could also maybe wonder, why was this design here, or why does this game work? And you can read sort of how designers maybe tackled some of the more difficult issues, which will maybe help you appreciate a game more. Or if you don't like something from a different game, house rule something to make it a little bit more fair.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I love reading about. I think we've talked about in some small way on the show before, like different kind of books and reading about design. Super fun. And like you said, the list of people that they had on there, I know like Ignacy Trzewiczek, Nikki Valens, Tim Fowers, Isaac Vega, all tons of like Rainer Knizia, big names were involved. So this is one that I'm very interested to read for sure.
And this one is offered to you at a $10 for the PDF, or to get the book itself for $20. Once again, this is one of those things, so I do think we highly recommend that you learn a little bit more behind the scenes as well as while you're playing the game itself.
Blowback is my next pick, and it is actually a sequel to the Wish You Were Here game that was on Kickstarter not that long ago from the Enigma Emporium. And if you didn't see that one, this is the same idea. Both games are simply a set of 5 postcards, and each of those postcards has a series of puzzles on it that you need to solve. The idea is you're a detective, and you are sent these cryptic messages from a criminal, and you have to figure out what's going on and how to stop it. This one actually does take place after the events of that first game, but you don't need to play the first one to play this. The story isn't that important. It's mainly about figuring out, deciphering the clues and the codes with what you're given, and with what you can look up and research on the internet to help you as well. I actually did back that first one, so now I can talk about what it was actually like. And if you like puzzles that are similar to kind of an escape room feel, or maybe a bit of the video game Professor Layton, those types of puzzles, those elements, but you don't like having a time limit as much. These are great. You can just look at them and think about them for a while, put them on the shelf, and then suddenly you look back at it and think, oh, I know what this means. Some of them involve math, history. You have to look at different things and figure out what you need to research. Very interesting stuff.
I like the idea, and I would love to see more in the future. I think Detective did too, of using the internet, because at this point, when we have such a great resource at the fingertips, that way people don't feel like, oh, it's not my fault. I don't remember my history class from high school.
Yeah. You don't need to know like any actual math or anything like that.
Right, but being able to reward people for looking it up instead of making them feel guilty to look it up, I think is always a great addition. And of course, fun little puzzles in the mail. What could go wrong with that?
It's cool, it's simple, it's small. It's only $12 for each set, and there's a stretch goal for an additional set that they're going to sell to people for cheaper as an add-on if they hit it. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, check it out. It's called Blowback.
Talon Strike Studios invites you to go into Winterbourne, a game which you'll be heading a clan of Vikings and try to prepare for the seasons, in particular for the harsh winter. In this game, each player will have their own board with 3 pawns, a warrior, a shaman, and an explorer, and you will be playing 2 cards. One card you'll use for choosing which pawn to use, the other for what you'll be doing and how much they move. Each pawn is unique in what it can do, such as the explorer can reveal new tiles, the shaman can collect taxes, and the warrior can help clean areas. Each have plenty more than what I'm saying here. And you'll be getting new cards, and then once winter hits, you'll actually gain a secret bonus point card to gain more points. And you will have to, in a more European-style game, each person has their own board, so you're really trying to focus and maximize your own point gain in order to prove you prepared the best for winter. This looked like a mid-light sort of Euro game, but I love the idea of not... First, I always love having my own board because that way I can keep care of my own stuff. But in particular, the pawns of each one being unique and each card having multiple abilities. So maybe I want to use this for warrior, or maybe I want to use it for a move card or other abilities. In addition, there will be cards in the center of the table that you upgrade them. So obviously you'll start with just maybe a warrior card that has a move 2, but maybe you can get one that has a warrior card, a higher movement, and gain resources. So there's always sort of that upgrade engine building aspect to it as well.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I like anything, like you said, where no one can mess with your stuff.
Yes, it is pretty nice.
Stay out of my stuff.
But this goes for $39, so this is probably, it's still mid-tier in Euro game, which is nice, and it has a lot of really cool components to it. And unfortunately, I do think there was an early bird special that has run out for a first-player meeple, but still definitely worth checking out if you enjoy more of that Euro or just you're doing your own thing aspect kind of game.
Next up is a role-playing game called The Great American Novel from designer Christopher Gray. It is a game in which players can reenact basically any fiction setting that they want, but really it was designed with the idea of the classic Great American Novel in mind, a Great Gatsby style, Americana taking place in America, but you could choose any time period you want. They said they had systems where they played it with in the 40s, in the 80s. They even used it to recreate some classic movies. They mentioned The Godfather, for instance. The way that the system works is it actually follows the hero's journey trajectory, that classic storytelling trope, and every character has different ways that they can kind of affect that. The game is played in chapters, and at the end of the chapter, you're meant to reach certain points sort of on that line. And so as you go, it's supposed to feel climactic and like you're actually progressing with your character, and that's really what the game is all about. It's about making your characters feel real, giving you agency. There's also an element where, sometimes you can tell the story yourself, even as a player, as opposed to being the GM. Just some interesting, cool ideas in play. And if you check out the page, they have some playthroughs that you can watch, including, like I said, they recreated some other things. You can watch one where they were doing the Fargo, the movie. There's one where there's a couple where people are doing it for True Blood, the TV show. So it sounds like it's very interesting stuff can be applied to multiple storytelling elements.
Well, this already sounds like something that if you're an English teacher, probably take a look, because I mean, this could be a great addition to teach some of those novels.
Yeah.
But did you say any fantasy or?
They said technically anything you want.
Waiting for Godot?
Yeah, why not? Whatever you can think of, man. Put your mind to it. It's called The Great American Novel. For $15, you can get the PDF. For $25, you can get a softcover version. I think they have a hardcover as well. So take a look if you like that kind of thing.
Those are our Kickstarters. We've obviously given you a lot to read with, as well as maybe some fun puzzles to solve. But we should also let you know that this week we finally got our website launched.
That's true. It's a brand new website. You can check it out right now. There's a contact form where you can tell us about your own Kickstarter picks or if you have any questions at all. And you can find all our videos just like this one organized there oh so nicely. So it's a great place to check out. As always, talk to us in the comments about your Kickstarter choices this week or elsewhere on social media, linked in the description below. And I am Jonathan.
And I'm Will.
And this was Kickstarter Pickstarter. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome board game content from Roll for Crit.
And please leave a comment. We're lonely.